welcome to my show. Today's guest is Joseph Drolshagen. Hi, Joseph.
Hello, William.
It's good to see you again. I met you earlier this year. We were at the Holistic Fair in Southfield.
Farmington.
Farmington Hills, yes.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's Farmington Hills at the Unity of Farmington Hills Church.
Yes.
And you did a workshop there for an hour. I participated in that, and it was great.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Is this something that you usually do, these transformational classes or workshops?
Across the entire United States, anywhere from 1 hour to 90 minutes to 2 hours to a 3-hour workshop, yes.
Well, and again, so you offered a 15-minute strategy session?
It's a 45-minute, but if you know me, you'll notice I like to talk. So I usually schedule them for a 60-minute strategy session. Yes, and that's what you and I did. And it allows me to get on the phone with you and talk in 1 hour and really get laser focused on what that is that you would love to be, do, have, create in your life.
Well, I got to tell you, so that's why I have you here today, because that session was really helpful. At that time, I was telling you how my work schedule was a bit heavy.
Oh, a bit.
A bit. And I was looking for some time to create a balance between my work schedule and family life. And just from that call, as I remember, I think like a week later or something, I was emailing you and telling you how much that session was really helpful.
Yeah.
But then I was like looking at your past story. You're an author of a book called Life's Lessons.
Yes.
I have the book cover right here. See.
Yes. And Life's Lessons came about for me is, my whole entire life as I tried to be enough, I didn't realize this. I was a doer rather than a human being. I was a human doer. And I really spent a long time in my life as a victim and looking at how life happened to me and how it would beat me up and how I'd have one crisis after another. And at some point I had gone through a divorce and I was 3 states away from my son, and it just crushed me. And it really ended up coming out of that it's on the back cover of the book when it says, when I had enough, right? Because that's when we decide to change, when we've had enough. When I had enough and I started looking at I don't want to live like this anymore. And I started going through different studies and everything that I'd been doing since I was 22 years old. And I got to a point and I just said, so what I found and learned was if I take judgment out of the things happening, we all have situations, circumstances, and conditions that happen in our life every day, all day long. If I take the judgment out of those and quit saying they're good, bad, or right or wrong, or fair or unfair, and I started looking if it really is true, if all this stuff I study is really true, and life happens for me, then I could start asking the question, why is this happening for me in my life? And all of a sudden, Life's Lessons, I could start seeing why things were happening to help me grow, to help me evolve, to help me get out of the pits of life and really live the life that I love to live, that I get to experience today.
So having gone through that,
yes.
That is what kind of empowered you, that you want to pass it on. You kind of want to pass on the teaching so that you can help other people that are in similar situations.
Absolutely. I'll tell you, William, 31 years ago, I had the honor of sitting in a church of today in Warren, Michigan, and I heard a service given by Jack Bowen. It was his church. I didn't even know who he was, but that service just lit this passion inside of me. I feel goosebumps as I share it, and to inspire and motivate and help people live a better life. And later on, I learned that Maya Angelou had made a quote I love, and she says that we teach what we want to learn. And that's what I wanted to learn. And so I lit that off. But growing up in Detroit, Michigan, in the automotive mecca of the world, and I'm so proud to be a Detroit boy, but I was taught that a man gets a job and builds a career and supports a family. And so I did the very best I could up to a vice president of sales for a $60 million company. And I excelled throughout my whole career. But at the same time, I had this parallel passion going that never got filled as I went up that corporate thing. And I work with a lot of clients who come to me and say, man, I followed the path I was supposed to, and I don't feel that happiness. I don't feel that inner joy, or like what I'm doing with my life is what I should be doing. And I get to help those people to really look at what is that passion in you, and to ignite that and bring fuel to it and bring that out in the opening and to experience that in their life. And there is no greater gift I could have received
Well,
in my life to get to.
when did you decide to make that change? Because I mean, you've evolved from that so quickly.
Well, it seems quickly, but at 22 years old, that's 31 years ago for me. And to have that passion, you would think, wow, at 22 they figured it out. But it was really torture for many years because I was trying to do what I was supposed to do and what I was expected to do as a man. And at the same time, follow this path and the Wayne Dyers and all the programs and go through all this training and stuff. Probably about 10 years ago, 12 years ago now,
Yeah.
I was at the absolute darkest point in my life, and I was trying to bring this stuff forward, and I had hired film crews to go across the United States and start building a documentary. I was in the process of writing the book at that time and had the initial stages of it, and I just got so fed up with it, and it just hurt me so bad. I was driving home from my corporate job one day, and I just said, just please take this away from me. Just take it and put anything else in its place. And whatever you put in its place, I'll follow with all my heart and my soul. But this passion to really inspire and motivate and bring change into this world, I just couldn't put that connection together. And then all of a sudden, with that prayer, which was kind of like one of those pleading prayers, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And I walked away from that, and within a matter of days, an event happened, and I just took an action. And an event happened, and I took an action. And what I realized is how many years of my life I've given away to fear, because I would come out of the gate and I would start moving forward with a filming, or I'd start moving forward with the writing, and I'd get so far and I'd hit that fear and it would just stop me in my tracks. And I thought I was doing something wrong, so I'd go back to the beginning and try doing it another way. And so many of the clients I work with, when they come to me, they're based on living a fear-driven life. And what we don't understand is fear will always be there. The bigger the step we take outside of our comfort zone, the more fear is going to be attached to that. So we can go through that fear, though. One of the scenarios a really, really good friend of mine taught me a long time ago is he said, that fear is so far side to side, we'll never get around it. And it's so tall, we'll never get over it. But most of the time, we can walk through it and it's paper thin. And I have one of my clients that I'll just bring up as a scenario here.
Yes,
She was really afraid of heights.
Mm-hmm.
And for many years, she had children, and they'd go out and they'd do things and stuff, and she'd never do anything with the heights. And when we start, after a point, she ended up, they were out on vacation, and they were driving, and there was this cliff, and you could step off the bluff and fall like 100 foot into the water and stuff. And their whole family's all excited and stripping down and everything and getting out of the car and running and jumping off. And she so bad was so tired of that fear and the things we had been working with overcoming that fear. And I had her explain to me, and I use it with my clients, is walking up to that cliff, just like anything we go to accomplish or bring about in our life, walking up to the edge of that cliff was the most scary part of that whole thing for her. When she got to the edge of that cliff, she was petrified. But the moment her feet left the ground, it turned to excitement. And that's what I find happens time and time and time again, is when I could work with somebody and I can get them to step off of that ledge, all of a sudden that fear turns off, and their passion, which is what I'm all about. Life is intended to be lived in passion, and that passion kicks in and they just start going. And it's just been amazing, the results I've seen.
Yeah, I've seen. So you really have inspired so many people. I saw a video that you have on YouTube, on your YouTube channel, which you were. I don't have the video here, but I have some pictures of it, and where you were on stage. If you can just kind of tell us a little bit about what's going on here.
So I was asked to share the stage. This is probably about 2.5 months ago, and I was asked to share the stage with Mary Morrissey. And in front of 400 people, and even today it awes me that like I have 4 standing ovations, and all I really do, all I do is I share my excitement and my passion for life, and I help people see clarity in their life, and it just leads to, I mean, it was just such a dynamic experience in my life. I'll never forget it.
And if anybody has a chance, I mean, to go on your channel, like I said, and watch the video, I was so touched by your story, the things that you came out of, and then what you shared with the audience. It's really inspiring. And I got to tell you, myself, over the years, so, you know, I come from a different country. I come from Iraq, and so sometimes I wasn't able to find, as I was going through some of the things difficult times that you were describing, I wasn't able to find somebody, although, you know, you have all these loving people around you and your friends and stuff, they don't necessarily really maybe understand what you're trying to do or where you're trying to go.
Sure.
And I have found that connecting with people who have gone through that before you is incredible teaching.
Absolutely.
There's a difference in it. You have, it's just like, when we go get our PhD or our whatever we go and train for, there's different professionals that help us do that. And when we find the person that we connect with and that understands that and who has succeeded that,
Sure.
it makes an incredible difference. I mean, they've paved the way actually to make it easier on us. And as you were mentioning in your strategy sessions, it's very personalized.
It is.
Obviously everybody has a different issue, whether it's sometimes a family, something regarding their careers, financial. And the purpose of a coach is to look at what it is that is affecting your life, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So I've worked with people. So I'll just give you a couple of scenarios, and here's what I have found for myself and everybody is we have patterns. We have ways we're taught to grow up, right? Like I said that about, I was taught that a man gets a job and supports his family with a career and does his best and things like that. And that obviously for some reasons that was the right path for me to a certain point, but it was the right path only to get me to a point of such strong discontent within me that I just couldn't take it anymore. And then that led to my stepping off into doing this that just totally fills my passion, my heart, and my soul with purpose, commitment, excitement and such. So when I work with people, typically they have some type of family ties, or they might be good or bad, I don't know, but they have family ties. But what they're doing is just a generational repeat of those patterns.
Yes, I love that. I really believe in that generational pattern.
Absolutely.
Because it's like that's the hardest to break, and people don't understand. They don't understand how much that affects your life sometimes because we don't look into it
how much
enough.
It dictates your life.
It dictates, yes.
So like where we talked about that 90,
yeah, I love that. You say that on your website about, it says some people live for 90 years, other people live 1 year 90 times and continue to repeat the same patterns holding them back.
Over
that
and over
should scare
again.
The hell out of us.
I know it really. And when you really
change.
think about that, if you're not excited about what your life, one of the things I love when you and I get to communicate because there's that inspiration and that excitement and that passion in everything you're doing, and I'm learning that. And I might not have it. Nobody, I don't know if anybody has 100% of the time 24/7 and such, but moving in that, there's times we get tired and stuff, but like I'm able to help people. So I've been able to help kids 22 years old that had come to me, and he's going away to college right now for his degree.
About this too.
You
told me about
and he
this,
came to me and he said, I feel like I should be living the time of my life right now. But I find myself smoking marijuana and playing Xbox all day long, and I can't stand living like this. And we started working together, and we did strategy sessions, and then we started working together. And before we were, during the time we were working together, he started his own business creating websites. And he got back into social. He got off marijuana, or I wouldn't even work with him. So we tested that period of time, make sure there's not a deeper issue there. And then, so now he's creating websites. He's excelling in school. He's back to being social and playing hockey in his life. And then the other side of it is I've had an 83-year-old woman that came to me after one of the workshops, and it always touches me because she came up to me afterwards and she had tears and she goes, Joseph, before I met you, I thought I was too old to dream. And it just really, really kind of touched me. And so we ended up doing a strategy session. We ended up working together. Within the time period we worked together, she had traveled to 3 of her bucket list places that she had always wanted to see in the United States. And she had travel plans to go to 2 more. And just open that area of her life back up where she would not have, otherwise she'd have went through thinking that she was too old to get to do those, do and have those things. And then I've worked with people, I've worked with people in their late careers. I had somebody worked with recently here who, she was a teacher, and when she started doing it, she loved it, but she was burned out in the school system and the leadership and things like that. And she was just like a mess, like a hot mess about like her whole life, and she couldn't stand to do it anymore. And so we went through and we did exactly what I do in the strategy sessions, which is I help people. We get really clear, laser focus on what it is you'd love to do, have in your life. What is that dream waiting for you that's inside? And since we've worked together, now she goes to work and she actually enjoys it. So she's in the same job the same job,
her
same people,
perspective. You
and
have
now
changed
the
the
perception
perspective,
exactly.
yes.
And now she's enjoying, but she's also starting a hair salon with a boutique attached to
Wow.
it, and she's actually relocating her house and everything to the area where she'd love to live and such, and like to get to be a part of that with people and open that passion within them and that dream within them is just
And we can't underestimate this, and I think sometimes society does. But so there was a recent report that in the United States since the 1950s, we have the lowest life expectancy because of overdose and suicide, and it's so unfortunate that so many people
Yes.
are not able to have complete their fulfilling life because they either get addicted or and I think a lot of it, the core issue is that they are not able to live their passion and break free from these fears, and so they kind of give into something, a substance, and sometimes it's because they feel like there's no purpose.
Yes.
And the reason they don't feel a purpose is because they're not connected to their dreams and their passions. So this is not something of a small nature. This is serious stuff, and some people lose their lives because they don't dig into that, or they live a
Absolutely.
miserable life, which is, either way.
that 1 year,
there's no
90
reason
times,
for
there's
that.
no excitement
And
in that.
and we live in a country where we are really, it promotes living your dream, and there's so many people to help you make
Yes.
that happen. What I love also is you have this Thursday Coaches Corner. I think this is really awesome. It kind of shows how much fun you're having. You're making everybody else jealous, including
Not my
myself. I
intent.
look at that and it's like, okay,
Not
so
my
he's in
intention is-
really.
My intention is to pull them in with
Okay,
me.
I'll let the audience decide on that. Like, what would you say? Look at this cool video.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Joseph Drolshagen with Thursday Coaches Corner. And I'm in Greenville, Spartanburg Airport. I'm getting ready to head out to LA to meet with my mentor, my teachers, my instructors for my certification, and then all of my partners in Believing and fellow coaches. And I am so excited and pumped up to be able to do this. This is my life. And so a question I have for you today is, are you the kind of person that's living 90 years in your life? Or are you the person that's living 1 year 90 times and just continuing to repeat those same patterns over and over and over that are not bringing you what you desire, what you crave, what you would love out of life? So here's a little test to find out. Notice what you're noticing. Be aware of what you're thinking, what's going on with your thoughts. Because anytime you can look around your situation, your circumstances, and your conditions around you, and that will tell you what your thinking is. So 2 quick tricks that I use to start turning the ball there, getting stuff rolling, I guess. Snowballing effect, I don't know what you want to call it. But one is in the morning when you get up and you get your day going, take just a minute, just half a minute, and just ask yourself, what would I love today? What would you love? And just list it. And you don't have to make it happen. You don't have to go out and force it or anything. You just allow it to come to fruition then. And then the second thing to do is when you find yourself in times when your thoughts are negative, like CNN, constant negative news, and it's not leading to where you want to go, is just start speaking blessings into your life. Talk about your blessings and your gratitudes. We all have gratitudes. We all have blessings around us all the time. It's just whether we focus on them or not. So I hope you guys have a blessed day. I am so excited to be going to LA today. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Love ya. Bye-bye.
That was so cool. And I don't know, I'm jealous. But I'm so happy for you. When I see that, I do feel that vibration. I told you the other day we were emailing each other and you were having these ideas, and I said, Joseph, you have too much energy for me. I know I have energy, but this really, I don't know, I can't keep up with that. Yeah. But so people that want to work, and again, you talked about you're going to see your coach. I think most people don't understand that coaches have coach and mentors.
The best coaches have coaches. That's
yes.
right.
But so if people want to work with you one-on-one, and I know, like I said, I had a strategy session which was incredibly helpful. You were very generous with your time, and I know you provide like sometimes free. I don't know. You said that you're gonna give my audience an
Oh.
opportunity.
You want me to bring that up
just
now?
trying- yeah,
Wow,
I
you're
do.
going to make sure you get this, aren't you? So anybody that contacts me, you're going to have my contact information up there throughout.
Yes.
Anybody who contacts me and say that they're interested in a strategy session and they saw this on the show, I typically charge $250 for, I say a 45-minute, but because I like to talk like I do, I typically schedule them for 60 minutes and for a 1-hour phone call to get really laser focused and help people create what is that vision, what's that dream, what is that good thing inside of you that's that discontent that's been there for a long time and you just kind of pushed it down, or you're ready to bring it up, or maybe you're not ready but you're just tired of living the way you're living. And I'll go spend an hour of time with them on the phone, and all they have to do is reach out, say they heard me on your show.
And how generous is that? And I think part of that generosity has to do with gratitude. I really do. I think people that end up making their dreams come true
Yes.
and live the life that they want,
Yes.
this is their way of giving back.
Absolutely.
They understand the value of this, and we all of us that work in areas where we're trying to make a change in the world, making transformation, understanding the value, we really spend more time helping people, trying our best, than we do really. I mean, we're not even measuring it really, but I think the value that
Yes.
that is given.
When I start working
the
with
value
somebody,
is a great, yeah.
yes, when I start working with somebody, William, they always, like, after a while they'll laugh because I'll tell them, the way I work and stuff like that. And my program, I tailor for as individual as each individual is and stuff. But when I'm working with, I tell them, if you get stuck on something, like, you get my personal number. You have every way to contact me there is. Get a hold of me because I love what I do. So last Saturday when I had a client call me and we spent 2.5 hours on the telephone going through removing some blocks and things that had come up and stuff. Like I so much love it and have such a passion for doing
it's
it.
your calling.
That improves my day.
Yes.
So getting to do that more, it's not a
It
thing
gives
where
you
you
more
track
energy.
the hours and say, okay, you went this and this is, it's more so just getting in and really having that impact in somebody else's life. Because what it does is it helps me have a bigger impact. It brings a bigger impact into my life. So I have people that I have clients that I work with who come to me, and every Monday they dread Monday mornings. And they dread going to work, and they dread the work week looking ahead, and they just like have a lot of dread. And really to look at that and realize, like, what is it that you'd love to do, for your audience? Like, what would you love? What would you love your Mondays to look like going through your week? I know for me, I talked about being responsible and do my absolute very best to what I was taught responsibility of being a man is. Today, responsibility to me means that every Monday is fun day. And I so much look forward to fun Mondays.
Is it, because I know, the workshop that you did at the Holistic Health and Art Fair, just that in itself was
Yes.
incredibly powerful. So aside from working with you one-on-one, I just really encourage people that want to just create like workshops. That was really powerful. It was like 1 hour.
Yes.
It was a 1 hour.
Yeah, and that was the abbreviated one, the 2 and 3 hour one.
Because,
Really,
you said you do different hours. Yeah.
Yes.
That one was really powerful. And I
Thank
could,
you.
even the person you had us working with other, with another individual, like Partner Up.
Yeah, it's very interactive.
It was very interactive, and we both, we gave each other feedback on it, and he said, yeah, I said things that I really wasn't thinking or didn't think I could say, or kind of there's dreams that we have inside of us that sometimes we don't want to verbally communicate.
Yes.
And then you kind of put us in a box in a good way, though. You locked us up and you said, now you got to do this and this, and we had to listen to you, and it was a good experience. It was a great experience.
Because a lot of people that are nervous going into that will be hesitant, but then they'll start getting into the flow of it. And all of a sudden when they get done, and one of the favorite things in my workshop was when I asked what was the most impactful part, people will say it was that experience right there, that interactiveness, because they went places they didn't even know about or they didn't realize or they had pushed down for so long. So when I talk about those people with the dreaded Mondays and such, how would it feel to get up Monday morning with like inspiration and excitement and passion about how you get to spend your week and the things you get to do and be and create throughout that week?
And I want to show, I'm going to show this other video. I know we don't have that much, but I'm going to show one of your other videos just to kind of show your lifestyle. It's really inspiring, by the way, honestly.
Thank you. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. This is Joseph Drolshagen with Thursday Coach's Corner. Yay! Today I just want to talk about, I do a lot about how I love my life, and I do. And today I just want to take a minute and talk about, none of our lives, nobody's life is without situations or conditions or things that they don't want to experience in their life. But every one of those can be a growth for us. If we're willing to look outside of the potential of being a victim and we're willing to look at putting judgment down. So if there's nothing, if whatever happens in the situation isn't good or bad, it's not right or wrong, it's not fair or unfair. And here's a big part. If we can believe that life happens for us and not to us, when I started doing this, it completely changed my life. And I'd like for you to try that. Just give it a try. Look at something that's going on in your life and just ask yourself, if this is happening for me and not to me, then why is this happening? I'd love to hear about what happens when you experiment with this and see if it helps you. But all I know is that we're not victims in our life. We're not intended to be victims. We didn't come here to live this life to be a victim and be in lack and be in things like that. We're here to be all that we came here to be and live in that passion and experience life to its fullest, however we want to see that being. And if we're not experiencing that, it's because some of our thinking is based on our beliefs and things like that, and they're so easy to change those things and really be living a life that you would absolutely love. And really, it all started for me when I started looking at life as happening for me and not to me. So I hope you have a blessed day, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye-bye.
Joseph, so given what you just said about we're not victims
Yes.
of our lives, and
Yes.
we have just a few minutes left,
Okay.
what is something that people can take away from this that, if they never see you, talk to you, anything, just that they can practice, maybe even
Sure.
today,
Sure.
in preparing for the new year,
Yeah,
2019?
the one thing I would say is it's kind of my giveaway to people is just take a moment and say, what would you love today? Like, what's something that you would love to be, do, have, experience in your life today? What is that? And just say it, and don't try and make it happen, and just just state it, and then move throughout your day and see what happens. It's amazing how often that comes up.
How do you say it? Do you write? How do
for
you
me,
say it?
I just say I am so happy and grateful today that the right clients are finding me. I'm so happy and grateful today. I'm going to have somebody help
And you
somebody get
actually
a
just
breakthrough.
verbally-
I just say it out loud,
You
and then
verbally say
and then
that.
I forget it, and I move throughout my day. But the one thing I'd really like to finish when I talked about that with the dreaded Mondays, I work with a lot of people who come to me and they're either in a relationship where there's no longer passion, or they're looking for that. They're trying to bring in that love relationship, and those people feel lonely, in the relationship, and the people wanting them, and they walk around feeling lonely all the time, And when I work with these people, I get them going into that vision of what does that relationship look like? What does it look like? What's it going to feel like to hold that person's hand and have that passion in that relationship, or to miss the person when you're not with them? And really build that vision. So tying it right into this, what would I love? What's something you would love to be, do, have, or give in your life in this 24 hours? And just state it, and then move throughout your day and watch what happens.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Joseph,
Yes.
for this. I mean, just sitting with you right now, we've learned so much. I keep learning from you every time we connect. And by the way, Joseph is going to be at tomorrow. It's December 11th. So he's going to be at the Authors Guild event where at 6 p.m. it's hosted by Skyline in Southfield. And so we're so happy you're going to be
I'm
able
excited.
to help more people. I know
Yes,
you're
I'm
always
excited.
on the go. You always have speaking engagements. And
I do.
as you should, somebody like you, I think when people realize, again, we need this, it's really happening in the world, and people are looking at 2020,
Yes.
the perfect
Yeah,
vision.
and that's what I'm telling people right now is don't wait till 2019 gets here.
Yeah.
Call me now.
And
Set up
start.
take the advantage of that
Yes.
strategy
And
session and let's
yes,
ignite
we've,
it.
We provided
Yeah,
the
and let's-
information and stuff,
Yep.
and that's great. So I think you're being, incredibly generous, and I really thank you for taking the time to come on the show. I know that you travel quite a bit. You have a very exciting life, so we're very honored that
I'm
you took
honored
the
to get
time
to be here,
on
Wheelan.
this. So thank you very much, and I hope that I know I'm going to see you again,
Yeah.
like tomorrow at the Authors Guild event, but in other ways as well.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes, same
Yes,
here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.